Today we're gonna make a scratch game. I know this is different from the other ones, but I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Um, Sorry for the late video uploading. I'm learning to edit videos, so this video is probably gonna be edited by the time I upload this. So hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so today's game is going to be a shooter. So here we can see that it's a very simple shooter. This is a tutorial for beginners, complete beginners. You don't have to know anything about Scratch and nothing about the interface or anything. This can be your first ever game made. You'll be okay. And it even has a game over screen. So let's start into the code for this. So when you enter Scratch, you're going to have this interface. You want to click. Well, first of all, you need to be signed in and have an account. If you don't have an account, your project will not save. And if it's just for like one time and you just want to make your first game and you don't need it to save, well, you can just click this create button. But if you have an account, then you can create a new project and it will save it on your account. So your projects will always be there, and of course you can delete them whenever you want. So first of all, let's click this create button on top here. It will create a new project and you will end up in this interface. This interface is called, well, the Scratch interface. Here is where you're gonna code all your blocks. You can drag in a bunch of blocks here. And don't worry, by the end of this you'll know the basics of making Scratch blocks move around, games, very small games. Um, Here you have your sprite tab, and here you have some backdrops. You can go, edit your backdrops like that, but we're not gonna want to do that. And yeah, and you have these sprite. These sprites here can move. The backdrops cannot move. That is basically the only difference. And you normally use these for backgrounds. Um, then we have the costumes tab. This is where you're gonna draw all your main characters, your bullets if you have a shooter game, and everything you can interact with. Okay. You can also convert it to bitmap, which will make it like more of a pixely style, I guess. But don't do that because if you go back to vector, then it's still gonna be pixelated. So I'm just gonna do that. Wait, what happened? Well, I guess we'll go back here. That was kind of awkward. That was just that was cooltext.com. Hey, wait a minute, cooltext.com. Do any of you guys know who cooltext.com is? Well, it is a free place where you can take text. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Honestly, it's the coolest thing I've ever done. The best website for text. Once you know me, you're gonna know that's my favorite place to go get text. It's just so beautiful. Even the text in this game is gonna be with cooltext.com. Okay, so that's it. We have some sounds here too. I mean, we might add some sounds, but in the original game there wasn't. But yeah, sure, we'll add some sound, man. It'll make the coolest thing ever. Okay, So let's start off the game. So first of all, we're gonna want the player. If you remember the little shooter guy that shoots bullets, that's the guy we're gonna make right now. So you're gonna have to go to your costumes tab up here, delete the costume too, and then you take the select tool, select that, and then you press delete, which will delete the whole sprite or image that is in this interface. Everything will be deleted. Now you need to make the character. So mine was a triangle. So what I did is I went here and I went and put some blue here. Not that big of a blue, just a light blue. Could work. It should work, just like that. We're gonna have some green. Well, you can pick any colors you want, but I'm gonna take blue and green because they're just so cool. And that is all you need. Yeah. And then you can drag this out, but we don't want any outline. So you can type in 0. That's good. But then you have this. Select tool, select this. So you can resize it however you want. Mine was pretty small. And don't forget, this arrow, no, this cursor like thing in the middle, that is important to put in the center for this game, because there is going to be a pivot problem if you don't, I think. But just to be sure, it's a good reflex to always put it in the middle. I always do this and no bugs arrive, so keep that in mind. Then you can make this smaller. And this was around the size that I had in my original game. So now, take the reshape tool. Then you see you can select the middle of this side. Make sure that's the right side, because if you don't do the right side, I don't know why, but sometimes it doesn't work. It's good to have everything facing the right side, okay? Then you can select this while you're still in the reshape tool. Select the corner dot and press delete. And as you can see here, we do not want this. This is curved. How you can change that is by going here. When you have this selected, you'll have curved. You want to press pointed, okay? Mine is already there, I don't know why. Why is this not working? Wait, I'll do something. I'll just make it like this, I guess. Well, I guess this is what we're gonna do. Well, this is weird. Like, actually, this has never happened to me before. Or, actually, I might be able to fix this. This might be possible. Huh. I think I found a solution. Like, if you just put another one in the center, this might work. Okay. Yeah, you put one in the center and it will fix it. Wow, that was a tough decision to make. And maybe some other ones in wherever you want to make it as straight as possible. For me, this will be okay. But I do want it to be a bit smaller in the x-axis. So, yep, that's pretty good. And as we can see, this size is pretty small. Let's scale it up to, let's say, 150. And this is the size thing. So if you want to change your sprite size, it can be over here, or you can always go in here. But this you have to change every time, and it's not a sort of variable, I guess, in here. So I honestly don't do it here unless I'm in the sprite editor for my first time making a sprite. So you saw we scaled this down a bit, so that we can scale it up more. Because Scratch has limitations. If you scale it too big, it won't let you scale it bigger than 100% because in here it's too big. It's complicated, but you don't have to get yourself in there right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be it for the player. Oh, I just forgot to put it in the center. That's a good thing. Make sure it's in the center. Oh, yeah, and let's rename this costume to Player. Player. Then we're gonna make, yeah, no, 150, actually, maybe 170. 170, yeah, 170 should be good. Now in the code tab. In the code tab here, we are going to want to go to the events category and one green flag clicked. Now what does this block mean? It means that whatever is under this block will happen when you click on this green flag. This green flag right here. And now there's nothing in it, so when we press it, it does nothing. So to do something, we can hide it perhaps, or we can show it first. So if you drag this under here, it will hide the player sprite. And you can rename this to player right here. Okay. Or you could drag a show block, which now it's hidden, but now we can show it on the screen. So we want to show it when the game starts, right? So we'll show it when the green flag is clicked. We don't want it to be all the way over here. We want it to be in the center, which is position x0. As you can see now, it's in the middle in this x, well, no, in the x-axis right here. Now we can put 0 in the y-axis. So now it's at position 0 in this axis. Okay, now we can put a motion block, well, go into motion, go to XY. Now you might see that this is the same thing as X over here and 1 over here. So if we put 50 in the Y-axis, it's gonna go in the Y-axis. And what did I just press on? Nothing. So we are going to want to go in here in the sprite manager, I guess. And now we can see that when we click this changes too. Isn't that fun? You can change this to 70, but it won't change because it doesn't interact with the code. The code interacts with it. So we're just gonna leave this at 0. We're gonna put the block over here, and you basically can move this around, and then it goes to 0, 0. Goes to the middle. We can move it all the way over here. It'll go back to the center, no matter what. And next, we wanted to follow our mouse. So how do we do that? Well, there's a block just for that. Point towards mouse pointer. So now, when the green flag is clicked, we can point towards the mouse pointer. But it doesn't follow us. Why? Well, it's because it's doing only one time. We want it to do it multiple times per second. We always want it to follow our mouse cursor. So how do we do that? Well, in control here, there is a forever block. You can drag this out and then put this block inside of it. And then attach this to here. And what this does, it makes it follow our mouse pointer. So that's a basic code for your following mouse pointer code. And actually, this is a good time to test out the rotation problem. What if it was over here? Aha! Do you see that? That's why it's not. Well, that's because it's not in the center. So we don't want that to do that. You want it to rotate on its center point, on the center, the blue dot that's somehow in the center. And that's how we do it. So that's a thing to get in your head, guys. Never ever put it over here when you want to rotate it. No, no, no. You always want it to be in the center. When it's in the center, it's bug free. Bug free. Okay? So we can continue coding now. So now you should have a basic overview of what code is. Of course, you won't be a pro yet. This is just the very, very basics of programming here. But for now, let's continue. Okay, continuing. We wanted to do something when we press the spacebar or the mouse was down because we want it to be mobile compatible too. So Scratch is mobile and it can go on computers, which is sick. Like, it's really cool. Oh yeah, we completely forgot about this name up here. We can name this shooter or whatever you name you want. I'll just name this shooter. Then you want to make it so that when we press the space key, or the mouse is down, we press on the mouse, it will shoot a bullet. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need a bullet, obviously. So how do you create a new image? Well, if you remember, you need to you need to create a new sprite, because a sprite is something that can interact with something, or it can just stay there, just like that. It's basically just an image that can do code. So now we don't want to search a new image because here there's a bunch of things, but I don't want any of these, so go back. Here we have the paint option, which is what we're gonna choose because we want to paint it ourselves. So I'm gonna name this bullet, and here it'll be named bullet 2. Oh, I'll put it uppercase. Here 2. Oops, typo. Okay, so let's create a bullet. So the bullet is going to be way simpler than player. We are just going to draw a simple circle. So what you want to do is select the circle tool right here, and you want to zoom in a lot now, because if you remember, our player was small, so we need this to be even smaller than the player. Zoom in like a lot, and then we're gonna make it about 2 by 2 grids tall and wide. So we want to start it all off right in the corner over here. That's a good place to start, and then we're just gonna drag this, or you can do this too. You can press the shift key and it'll make it be an exact circle when you move your mouse. So that's what I'm gonna use to make that. Then we want to put it in the center. And as you can see, it's about 2 by 2. So we are good with the bullet. Or actually, I want to change this color to black and green. I think that'll be good. So I'm gonna put in green and black. And here's gonna be the black. Pitch black. Okay, that's gonna be a good bullet. Yeah, actually we can scale it up a bit. Scale it up. This will be 9 by 9, but over here it's 12 by 12. I'm using the grid size. That should be good. Even a bit smaller. Okay, that should be good. Okay, we're gonna put it that size. Now you might notice that it's kind of blocky right here. Like it's not a perfect circle, and there's a very easy fix to that. When I mean easy, it's like very easy. You zoom out, you select this rectangle tool. Make sure that you have no outline, so you press this button on outline, and no fill. Actually, go in the fill category, no fill. You should have a red bar here. Then you can do a rectangle with circle. I'm gonna select a circle. Oh yeah. You need to have that selected. So I'm gonna select the shift key. And here we have it. We have an invisible circle, which we're not going to be able to see. That is exactly what we want, because this is going to take sort of an outline, and this is what's going to get blocked out, but we don't care because that is on the outlines. It's not the outline, but it's like our second layer after this. So yeah, here it is. And that should fix the problem if you put it extra big. Yeah. And we can see here, it is super big. And that is how you can do it. Okay. So our bullet spread is done. We're gonna code the bullet next. So when the green flag is clicked, directly when it's clicked, we want to hide it. So we're gonna hide. Then we're going to, that's basically gonna be it for now. We're gonna go into a player. And in our player, we're gonna do another green flag clicked. We are going to take it for a loop. That means it's gonna loop every single frame since the green flag is clicked. So now we can't shoot yet. No, of course not. We can take an if statement, which checks for a condition inside of here. What we want is key space. The key space right here. This is this block. And we want a mouse down. Of course, you could change this to any key you want, but I'm gonna use space and mouse down. So how do we put 2 inside of them? That's an easy fix. There's a block just for that in every programming language. You put an OR. So it's gonna check for spacebar or mouse down. So our mouse is clicked. And that should be it for the condition. So it's gonna check every single frame if we press space or we press on the mouse. Then we want to shoot out a bullet. So a simple way to do that is to create a clone. which is going to duplicate the original sprite. Well, when we press space, that's gonna be it, yeah. Next, we don't want it to go all like, well, actually no, let's wait. We're gonna go into the bullet now because we create a clone of this bullet. Oh, no, wait. We need to change this to bullet. Because if it's not bullet, we're gonna create a clone of ourselves. So we're gonna essentially duplicate this player, and we're gonna shoot him out. That would not be good. That would be kind of like a zombie apocalypse. So we want to go in our bullet because this is going to make a clone of this sprite. So there's a block you can drag that's called when I start as a clone. So when this block gets called, it will go here and it will run this code under here because it's gonna start as a clone. What do we want to do in there? Well, it's pretty simple, honestly. We want to show it because right now it's hidden. So when it's a clone, we're gonna want to show it. We're gonna want it to go to the player because we want it to start at the player, not over here, or here, or here. We want it to go on the player. So we go take a block, go to random position, but we change this to player. Good. Then we want it to point towards the mouse pointer, because if we don't do that, it's gonna move 20 steps in any direction, honestly. It's gonna make some pretty insane bugs. So we want it to point towards mouse pointer. Then we want to move 20, well, we want to move in the direction that the player is facing until it's touching the edge, or if it's going to be touching an enemy later on. So for now, we'll just do it when it touches the edge. It's gonna delete it. So what we're gonna do for all this code, we're gonna do a repeat until touching edge, right here, touching edge. Then we want to move 20 steps. I move block 20. This is gonna make him move 20 steps in the direction we're told, the mouse pointer direction. So this is kind of readable here. Repeat until touching the edge. Move 20 steps. So it's gonna repeat moving 20 steps until it touches the edge. And when it touches the edge, we want to delete the clone. Delete this clone. That should be good, to be honest. That's gonna be our bullet. Okay. Press space. Ooh, that's a bit too much bullet firing right here. That's gonna be too easy, right? So, we want to wait a certain amount of time when we shoot the bullets. So, right after it creates a clone, we're gonna wait 0.2 seconds, I think. That should be good. 0.2. Right here. And now, if I keep pressing the spacebar, it only shoots every 0.2 seconds. You can change that to 0.1. And that will make it shoot more. But I like 0.2. 0.2 should be good. Okay. So, that's pretty much our player and our bullet complete. So that's a very, very big achievement. Very nice. So if you manage to follow along, well, you get a cookie. This is it. Our player and our bullet. Okay, so last thing I want to do here in this part, I'm gonna want to add a background. So, did you remember when I talked about the backdrops? Well, here we can draw a backdrop. You can draw anything you want for it right now. So go free up and just make sure it fills the whole like what rectangle here. It needs to be filled the whole way, or else it's not gonna show the whole screen. If you want to know what I mean, I'm gonna select this, and if it's smaller, look, it's gonna make it be too small. We don't want our backdrop to be that small. We want it to be at least the size of the screen. So I'm gonna draw a simple backdrop, very simple one. It's going to be a blue and black backdrop, just like in the original. That should be enough. Blue, and black. Okay, black. Woo! We did a backdrop. So all I want to do here is nothing. Nothing at all. Yep. Well, we can do something. We can do when green flag clicked. Show. That. Oh, yeah, we can't do that. It's always going to show. Forget this. Okay, so now if you put a game, we can shoot. We have a movable player by the mouse pointer. And we have a backdrop. That's going to be it for this tutorial. See you next time. Bye.